G'day guys, Daz here. Now last week my brother and I, Rod, we were on the couch talking about 20 things that we really love about the Philippines. But there were so many things that we just didn't cover, and I thought, well, it has to be at least 10 more things that I love about the Philippines. Rod's just gone back to the Philippines last week, and so you've got me on my own. But anyway, today it's going to be 10 more things that I really love about the Philippines. Now, number one, first thing that I really love about the Philippines is cheap dental. I've had a lot of dental work done over in the Philippines because it's just so expensive to get dental work done in the West, countries like Australia and America, and dental is very expensive. Now, about 6 years ago, I went to the local dentist here, and they had a look at my teeth, and they said, look, you're going to need a lot of money to get all your dental work done. I needed about 5 teeth extracted. I needed a triple bridge up the top and a double bridge. I needed some root canals. Just all kinds of work, had accumulated by the time I was about 49, 50 years of age. Although I'd been seeing the dentist every 6 months or 12 months and getting little fillings and, things done, it just got to the stage that, having British teeth, genetically, they just weren't holding up. So the dentist in Australia quoted me around about $9,000 Australian to get everything done. Now something like about 7,000 US dollars. And it was going to do most of the things that I needed, but not everything. And it certainly wasn't going to include anything like dental implants or, anything like that. It was just going to be simply, removing a few horrible teeth, replacing them with some plastic teeth, mounted on other teeth. $9,000, that was a lot of money for me then. It's a lot of money for me now even. So when I went to the Philippines, I went to a dentist over there. I went to a couple of dentists actually and got different things done. Because I had like a root canal that was urgent. I had a broken tooth that could be saved if I got onto it straight away. And I was just shocked how cheap it was to get stuff done. So the first thing I had was a couple of extractions. In fact, I think it ended up being 3 extractions in total, and that cost me just over $50 Australian to have 3 teeth extracted. The dentist was very gentle. I never felt a needle. I never felt any pain. There was no infection. It was just really good treatment, and it cost me $50 to have 3 teeth removed. He also did some x-rays included in that. Now, on the next visit, I had a root canal done. Now, I was quoted a root canal in Australia was over $1,000. I think that root canal, all up, I think there was 2 or 3 visits for the root canal, and it cost me around about $160 Australian, which off the top of my head, it's around about 120 US dollars. And again, I had no pain, no trouble with it, no infection, and that was done. So in the end, while I was there for just over a month. I thought, I wonder what it would cost me just to get everything done. So I had a triple bridge and a double bridge fitted up the top. I had another root canal. I had in total about 5 or 6 extractions and some fillings. And the whole lot, everything came to $680 Australian, as opposed to the 9,000 Australian dollars that I was quoted. And during this time, had really good treatment, no pain. It was just as good as you could hope for, and it all turned out really well. So that was one thing that I really loved. And now a lot of people I know, they don't specifically go to the Philippines just for dental treatment, but they do go there and have a lovely holiday, and while they're there, they have their teeth looked at and maybe get a few things done. I'd like to point out also, for the 680 Australian dollars, I even had a couple of things done that weren't even on the list for the $9,000 I was going to pay here. So I probably got $9,500, $10,000 worth of work for $680, and that more than paid for that trip, the next trip, and probably even the trip after. Now, number 2, something that I really love about the Philippines is it's a great country, and it's great for it to be a second home. So Australia is, our home. This is where my wife and my kids and we live here in Australia, but the Philippines is our second home. Now, it's not only great for a second home, it's also great to be your main home, your main place of residence. But if that's not the case, where you maybe haven't reached retirement age yet, or you just prefer maybe the cooler climate, where you live, or you run a business, or you have a good job and you still like living where you are, that's fine. But you can also make the Philippines your second home, which is what we've done. So we ended up buying a brand new townhouse off the plan. It was going to be constructed in about, they said about 10 months. It was ready, within 9 months it was ready. And the price was so good that I actually bought a second one. I bought the one next door. Now, in 2014, I paid $32,000 each for these townhouses. Now, these are 2-story townhouses, 3 bedrooms, although the one that we kept, we decided to have the 3 bedrooms made into 2 larger bedrooms so that we could fit queen-size beds in them, and it also left a little bit of room to give us a slightly larger bathroom upstairs. So in total, for 64,000 Australian dollars, which in those days was around about 50,000 US dollars, we ended up with 2 brand new townhouses, and they totaled 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 2 kitchens, 2 lounge, 2 dining, 2 blocks of land, 2 car parking spaces dedicated for our units, 2 balconies, 2 patios. It was just fantastic, and it's the best thing I've done. So I gave one pretty much to my wife's family to live in, and have free use of it, and to be a caretaker for our place next door. And our one, we use it occasionally. We haven't used it since COVID, unfortunately, because it's just been too hard to get back, and we've had so much going on. But then it can always be rented out on Airbnb, or rented out full-time, or casually to people, and it's worked out well. So that's covered our outgoing costs, like homeowners association, which in Australia we call the body corporate. It's covered, fees, maintenance, it's covered pretty much everything. And and the properties have gone up in value. In fact, they've probably more than doubled in the last 9 years. They're, I wouldn't say they've tripled in price, but they've probably more than doubled. I wouldn't be surprised now if each unit would be worth 75,000, 80,000 Australian dollars each. So there's been a really good investment. So the Philippines can be ideal for a second home. If you can't live there full time, then at least consider having a property there. Now, because I'm married to a Filipino, we're allowed to own a property which has land content. So we own the land underneath. If I was a single Australian or a foreigner, I'd be allowed to buy a condominium or an apartment which doesn't have any land. So you could buy something in a high-rise building or something that just doesn't have land content, and you'd be quite welcome to own that. And those prices are great as well. From 50 to 100,000 Australian dollars, you can buy yourself a nice luxury 2-bedroom apartment in a high-rise building, say in Cebu Island, or Cebu City, or Mactan Island. And that represents fantastic value. You'd be close to the beach, close to the airport, and just living a really nice lifestyle in the tropics, and it's pretty much affordable for anybody. So number 2, yes, you can make the Philippines your second home. Now, number 3 is mobile phones. Now, the way that mobile phones are sold and how they operate in the Philippines is completely different to Australia. Now, for example, what I was surprised is that in the Philippines you can go somewhere and I can just get off the plane and I can buy a SIM card, and they were 50 pesos. There was a choice of companies to go with. 50 pesos is about $1.20. You've now got a Philippine phone number. You can insert it into your mobile phone, and pretty much you're on the air. People can call you, you can call out. And you can then top it up with load, and you can buy a load card. I I think as little as 50 or 100 pesos. I always buy the 500 peso ones because if you're going to make calls to Australia or overseas and that, it's not going to last long, having, a couple of hundred pesos of credit on your mobile phone. But the system over there is so different to Australia. For example, a lot of their mobile phones have a dual SIM, so you can insert 2 SIM cards, and all their phones are unlocked. Now in Australia, if you buy a mobile phone from the local supermarket, it's going to be locked, usually, it's going to be locked to a carrier. So it's going to be either with Telstra, Vodafone, Optus, Dodo. It's going to be with some carrier, and it's going to be locked to them. And you either have to keep the phone for a long time, say 12 months before you can get it unlocked, or you have to put a certain amount of credit on the phone, and let's say you had to do 6 months or 12 months of installments or something before you can get the phone unlocked, which means you can't go to another carrier and you can't take that phone overseas and put a Filipino SIM card in it because it's not going to work. It's locked to a carrier in Australia. Well, in the Philippines, they don't seem to lock their phones at all. And not only is there an incredible array of phones to choose from, but they're incredibly cheap compared to here. You can put 2 different SIM cards in, so I could have one for Australia on roaming and one for the Philippines, a local number in the phone, and it's just such a simple system. Now, as of yesterday, you had to register your SIM card in the Philippines. Before that, you didn't have to. You could just buy a SIM card, insert it, put some credit, some load on your phone and just start using it. Now the Philippines has come in line with like other countries, and you have to register your phone to your ID so they know who owns that phone number. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But it was just so simple in the Philippines to get a phone, put a SIM card in it, put some load on it. There was no contracts or anything like that. And every day I'd get all this free stuff. Like you'd hear a chime and congratulations, you've now got a free ringtone. Or you can download one of the latest songs and add it to your library. This has been going back years, I'm talking about even 10 years ago they were doing this. And at other times you would get a voucher and you've just won a free cheeseburger from McDonald's. Just simply because you put $10 credit on your phone. Now another feature I found that was amazing, that I was at my wife's house and I was running very low on credit and I had to make a call to Australia. And my sister-in-law said, I'll send you some credit. I thought, how can you send somebody some credit? I gave her my cell phone number. On her phone, she was able to send some of her credit across to my phone. It was instant. And I was able to make my call to Australia. So I paid her whatever it was. Let's say it was 500 pesos of credit. I gave her the 500 pesos and she sent me 500 pesos of credit. But you can sell your credit to people. You can buy credit from people, and you never need to run out of, download, how many gigabytes of download. You can increase that and you can get credit off people. It's just so flexible. Australia could really learn a lot. Okay, now number 4 are the beaches of the Philippines. Now the Philippines, having over 7,100 islands, is just surrounded by beautiful beaches. You're in the tropics, there's all these islands. To my way of thinking, a beautiful beach is one that has the beautiful bent palm trees and, crystal clear or bluey green waters and azure seas. And the Philippines has all of that and has it in spades. Now, the other thing about it is, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can experience these beaches and go scuba diving and go out on, banana boat, outrigger boat trips and things like that to other islands. And it's inexpensive for the most part. And even if you go to the number 1 beaches like, Boracay, Malapascua, places like that, it's still affordable. For Westerners, it's not expensive for accommodation, for the food, for the transport getting over and back. It's really quite doable. And while you're there, having these beautiful palm tree lined beaches, crystal clear water where there's beautiful stripy fish, and you'll see starfish and all these exotic creatures and that. It's just absolutely beautiful. The balmy evenings where it's still quite warm. It's not unusual for it to be 25, 26 degrees, even at midnight. Sitting out, near a beach, drinking rum and cokes, and just having a barbecue going and just having a good time with family and friends. It's just really something exotic, something that everyone should experience, and I'm sure you'll really appreciate it when you're there. It's just beautiful. Now, I live on the Gold Coast in Australia, and Surfers Paradise Beach is 20 minutes away, and it is one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, but it's not quite as usable as the beautiful tropical beaches in the Philippines. For example, we have like really bad rip tides where you just go in the water and next minute you're sucked out to sea, and the surf lifesavers got to come and rescue you. There's marine stingers and sharks and all sorts of problems like that. Now, it's a pristine beach, it's absolutely beautiful, but the water's quite cold most of the year. And as wonderful a beach as we've got here, and Australia is surrounded by beautiful beaches, there's a lot to be said about the Philippines beaches. Now, not the ones right near the city, like the beaches right around Cebu City and that. I mean, they're near a big city with nearly 5 million people. They're not in pristine condition, but it's somewhere to go and somewhere to enjoy a bit of food on the beach and hang out with your friends. But the other beaches are not very far away, and you can go out on these outrigger boats, and it's just incredible. My wife and daughters got a boat off the beach of Boracay and went out to the other islands, and they were paddling out in the middle of this beautiful sea. It was beautiful coral and that, and a guy just pulls up in a boat in the middle of nowhere selling ice creams and coconuts, and there's my wife and daughters having ice cream and fresh coconut drinks in the middle of this South China Sea and in the middle of nowhere, and you just don't experience things like that anywhere else. So yeah, the Philippine beaches are absolutely amazing. There's thousands of them to explore, and it's not expensive. Now, number 5, being a tropical country, is you're going to find a lot of tropical fruit. Now, I really love the fruits that you can get in the Philippines. The pineapple in the Philippines is probably the nicest pineapple I've had anywhere. Our state of Queensland here grows beautiful pineapples, but every time I think about pineapple juice, to me it's a bit tarty, it's a bit sour. The pineapple in the Philippines is just so sweet, and it's not sour at all, and it's just the taste of paradise. It's amazing. Also, Philippine mangoes are amazing. The bananas are great, and there's all sorts of exotic fruits over there that I've never had in Australia, such as jackfruit, breadfruit, star fruit. There's other fruit I've eaten, I couldn't even tell you what they were called. It's just grown in the right conditions, on these idyllic islands, and it really is a taste of paradise. And for the most part, Filipino fruit is not expensive. They do import apples and grapes and oranges and that from other countries like United States and Australia. But the local Filipino fruit is absolutely amazing. It really is good. Now, number 6 is also a food item. Now, the Philippines has an incredible array of drinks to choose from. I'm talking about soft drinks now. Yes, there's lots of alcohol over there and it's dirt cheap. But if you're just looking for a soft drink, and that's mostly what you will be looking for, because it's hot over there, and if you're walking around as a tourist, you're really going to be craving a drink every so often. There's just so many fantastic varieties of drinks over there. Some of the ones that I really love, there's a lychee flavoured drink with like a coconut jelly chunks in it. It's called Mogu Mogu. It's in a pink bottle, and that is just so refreshing. I really love the taste of lychee. We've also got this Minute Maid pulpy orange, which is this really nice orange juice, and it has like chunks, like little segments of orange or mandarin floating in it, and it's just a really nice orange juice. I can't think of any orange juices in Australia which taste as nice as that. It's just, you know, it's just so sweet and just so easy to drink. I'm not a big orange juice drinker, but I have the pulpy orange and I really enjoy it. Now, another natural fruit that they have in the Philippines is calamansi, and a calamansi, in Australia we call them, they're sort of like a kumquat. They're also sort of like a lime, but they're different to a lime and they're different to a kumquat. What they are is they can look a little bit like a mandarin on the outside, but they have a green skin outside, but they have an orange flesh inside, and they have this beautiful citrus, sweet citrusy taste. Now, in the Philippines, with some of the pollution and the smoke and just travelling around and that, you may get a bit of a sore throat from all the dust and smoke and that you've been breathing. And my wife makes me, and for our daughters and herself, a calamansi drink where she squeezes calamansi juice, adds a little bit of white sugar and some crushed ice and water. And if you've got a sore throat or a throat infection or, you know, blocked sinuses or anything like that, a drink of the calamansi juice fixes just about anything. It's fantastic, and it's one of my favourite flavoured drinks. But also in the Philippines, there's just so many different types of energy drinks. There's like Fanta with grape flavour, and there's just all these different flavours that I just don't see here in Australia. And the drinks are dirt cheap, and just the variety and the taste of the soft drinks in the Philippines is just really quite amazing. Now, number 7 is something that is more a part of Filipino culture than anything. It's something that we don't really have here in Australia. I guess you could if you wanted to, but it would cost you so much money. It would be, prohibitive. You wouldn't be able to afford it. And that is that a lot of Filipinos families have housemaids. Now, a housemaid is basically someone who comes and they will probably come and live with you. They may just come and visit daily, but they usually come and live with you. And this could be somebody from, say, 16, 17 minimum, or, you know, maybe 18 to like 22, 24. You know, someone at the end of high school, sort of around college age, will basically come into your house and come and live with you. And basically, they're there either to take over a lot of the chores like shopping, cooking, looking after the kids, cleaning the house, things like that. Sometimes they might be there as an aid to help your wife, you know, with household chores. Or they could be like mostly like an au pair, like your live-in babysitter. But housemaids are something that here in Australia we just don't really have. And if you wanted one, it would cost you an absolute fortune. It would cost more money than what an average Australian would earn. So even though we have rich people in Australia, I know people that's worth $10 million or more and live in mansions, they don't have a housemaid. They couldn't afford one. Or if they could afford one, they wouldn't be willing to pay that kind of money to have a housemaid. So in the Philippines, where people don't have a lot of money or just have an average job, they may have a housemaid live with them and take care and of the house, and take on a lot of responsibilities of looking after the kids and cooking and going shopping at the market and things like that. But it's just so affordable. Now, I don't know how much it costs today, but I know that, say, 20 years ago, you could get a housemaid to come and live with you for about $1 a day. I know it sounds terrible, but people were paying $25, $30 a month for a housemaid to come and live with them. Now, of course, it's gone up a lot more since then, but not too much. I mean, if someone said to me it was $100, $150, $200 a month, I would not be at all surprised if that's roughly where it is now. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, mention down in the comments below. But a lot of people have housemaids, or at least a cleaner, or a dedicated driver, or a babysitter, or someone that they hire, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. And that's just something that's completely different to Australian culture, because I don't know anyone who's got a housemaid. Number 8 are the mega malls, the massive shopping centres that they have in the Philippines. Now, once again, Australia has some pretty big shopping centres. Just, you know, half an hour away is the Logan Hyperdome. That was the first really big shopping centre I've seen. And on the Gold Coast, we got Pacific Fair, which is a really big shopping centre. And look, they're very good shopping centres, but the Philippines seems to take shopping malls to a whole new level. The size of them and being on multiple stories, and just how many businesses are in there and the types of businesses that are in there just blows me away. So our townhouse in Cebu is just off the Southern Reclamation Project, which is now called the South Road Properties, the SRP. Not far from us is the SMC side in Cebu, and it's absolutely huge. I can't think how many levels it is. Top of my head, it could be 3, 4, 5, 6 levels, something like that. It's on multiple levels, and even the rooftop has restaurants and things. You know, it's incredible. But I mean, you can go ice skating. You know, there's just so many things there. There's like huge department stores, lots of eateries, you know, there's fast food, and there's little pop-up stands all around the place. And it's just amazing what they've got in some of their malls. Now in Manila, you've got the Mall of Asia, which is absolutely huge. I've been there a couple of times, and that's blown me away. It's just amazing that the Philippines just has these massive shopping malls popping up, and they're popping up all the time. Now Cebu City, which has got less than 5 million people, has got so many malls. They're just popping up all over the place, and they're fantastic. And sometimes, you know, when it's time for you to go shopping, it's hard to make up your mind which mega mall are we going to go to today. And they're all good. And a lot of people go there and hang out because of the air conditioning, and, you know, it's just nice to be out of the heat for a while. It's, you know, it's just amazing, the shopping centres that they have in the Philippines. They are world class, and they are some of the biggest shopping malls in the world. Now, number 9 is Filipino street food. Now, one of the things that you just cannot help but notice as you're walking around in the Philippines, there's going to be people cooking on the side of the road pretty much everywhere you go. There's going to be mercados, you know, sort of like markets, and here we would call it something like Eat Street or something like that, but just people setting up in tents and just, you know, cooking all this food from around the world. You know, you can buy Korean and Malaysian and Filipino and Western food being sold from pop-up stalls all around the place. And of course there's the ubiquitous Filipino barbecue stalls where people are cooking, like, you know, pork skewers and you know, everything. There's like chicken's feet and pig intestines. There's all sorts of stuff, and don't knock it till you try it. It's all really yummy stuff. It's really good, and dirt cheap, incredibly cheap. And another thing is, I really love the banana queue, where they put half-ripe bananas on a skewer, and they sort of like deep fry them, and then they roll them around in this toffee glaze, and they're for nothing, but they just taste absolutely fantastic, and it's hot and fresh, cooked in front of you, you know, in the street. So it's not lacking anything. If you're walking down the street, you know, and you're feeling a bit hungry, you haven't really got to pop into some restaurant or go to a mall or something like that, because you will see all different types of food being cooked all down the street. There's lots of roast chickens, rotisserie chickens, and whole spit roast pork being carved up. All sorts of you know, like homemade drinks like calamansi and iced tea and things like that, and it's not very expensive. I've never had any trouble eating any of the food off the street vendors, never been sick or anything like that, and the smells just fill the air of all this smoke with like sweet pork cooking and marinated chicken. It's just fantastic environment, and you really just got to immerse yourself in the culture and get into it. It really is good, and once you've tried it a couple of times, I guarantee you'll go back and get more and more. Number 10 to finish up, and this is by no means the only 10 things I can think of about the Philippines, but this is it for today's video. Now, number 10 is the Philippines seems to be a country that really enjoys having parties. Now, when I go to the Philippines, we might be there for a month at a time. It's not unusual for us to attend 4, 5, 6 parties. 1 month in Australia, we may have some friends over once for dinner. That might be about it. In a month in the Philippines, well, you know, there's so-and-so's graduation and it's someone else's birthday, and they're holding a wake at someone's house because Lola has passed away, and a seaman has just come home from the merchant's. He's a merchant seaman, and he's come home and he's got all this money and he's buying all these presents for his family, and he's putting on, you know, a whole spit roasted pig, lechon, and you'll be invited to this. Now, I've been invited to parties with property developers, barangay captain's birthday, the Lord Mayor's birthday, little kids' birthday parties. Constantly being invited to parties, and they're fantastic. And not only the parties great, because especially like if you go to the kids ones and they got a piñata. Now a piñata is getting more popular at Australian kids parties, but in the Philippines they'll fill them with not only lollies, you know, candy, but they'll fill them with coins and, you know, notes and all sorts of stuff. And when that piñata drops its load, it's a free-for-all. There'll be 60 kids diving in there and grabbing at stuff. And it's really nice to see. Now, the other thing is in the Philippines, like birthday cakes, you know, celebratory cakes are very cheap and they're big. And you can get them sign written pretty much with anything you want on it, and you can have, you know, you can have any sort of Disney logos and Transformers and whatever you want. I mean, you can here in Australia, but here those cakes would cost you $80 or $100. In the Philippines, they're $15 or $20. And I think their ones are actually made to a better standard than ours, and with more choice and more variety. So everywhere you go to parties over there, there's always some big celebratory cake for someone's birthday, or a graduation or a homecoming or something like that. And some of the party food they put on is fantastic. Especially at kids' birthday parties. It's not unusual for him to get a skewer and put on a piece of hot dog and a marshmallow and another piece of hot dog and a marshmallow. And when they cook them, you end up with like melted marshmallow over your hot dog. And they're a bit stronger than the Australian hot dogs, because these ones have like more garlic, more spice, and they're a little bit sweeter. And having them covered over in marshmallow, to me it's such an unusual idea, but it just works so well. And when you go to, you know, these birthday parties and you're having these, you know, these hot dog and marshmallow skewers, it's just really something different. But once again, I recommend that you immerse yourself into the Filipino culture, get into the swing of things, and you'll have a great time. And don't be surprised if at the end of it you end up having to sing karaoke. And for a lot of Westerners, getting up and singing karaoke in front of people is, they'd probably rather die than having to do something like that. But once you've done it once or twice, it becomes addictive, and now I have trouble giving up the microphone, as you can probably see. So that's it today. That's 10 more things that I really love about the Philippines. Who knows? I might be able to come up with another 10 or 20 yet. Wouldn't be hard. So if you like today's video, please give us a like. If you want to see more content like this, and got some other strange stuff coming up soon, you know, all sorts of categories, please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 likes as quick as I can, and then I'm going to start producing some really good content. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it, and hope to catch you soon. Okay, bye.